All right, welcome back to the Twist Takes podcast, episode 12, and it is another one of our specials. We are talking all March Madness. It is finally here. The time has come. The brackets are full. We have all made our own brackets, and that's what we're spending this entire episode for. We are running through our brackets, our final four, our champions, our upsets. They will all be here.
Game by game, baby.
All right. Let's just get into it because it's going to be a packed episode, game for game. Michael, you are going first. So we're doing region by region. And then Peyton, are you waiting till the end to do your entire one?
Yep.
Okay.
Why don't we just do all of ours just region by region? So it's not like, okay, we're doing 32 and then 16, and then like we can just knock out each region individually.
Yeah. So like,
I
yeah. So
think that was what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, but then
Oh,
just
okay.
I'm going to go last, do my whole thing last.
Okay. All right. That's fine. All right. So my East region, I have UConn beating Stetson. I mean, shocker right there.
No way.
I
No
have
shock,
North-
dude. No upsets.
I have Northwestern over FAU. I feel like I'm just being biased because I'm butthurt that FAU got ranked so high or seeded so high. And I feel like maybe I'm just being biased against them because of that. But because I don't like Big Ten basketball, to be completely honest. As you will see as I go through this. San Diego State over UAB. Auburn over Yale, which like if I'm gonna bet one favorite this weekend on like either a big long parlay or the spread, it's gonna be Auburn over Yale. I hate Yale. BYU over Duquesne, Illinois over Morehead State. This one I went back and forth for a while on, but I eventually settled on Drake over Washington State. I just felt like it was ugly not only having one upset being Northwestern versus FAU in the first round, at least for this region, and then Iowa State over South Dakota State. And then moving on to the round of 32, I have UConn versus Northwestern, where I have UConn moving on. Auburn versus San Diego State, where I have Auburn moving on. BYU versus Illinois, which this is one I kind of went back and forth with. I have BYU moving on. But I do feel like Illinois has a strong case against them, but I am scared that they might get upset in the first round by Morehead State, to be completely honest with you. And then I have Iowa State over Drake. Then moving on to the Sweet 16, I have Auburn over UConn, which not a lot of people have UConn going far, but I've talked to a lot of people that have Auburn upsetting them. I feel like Auburn is a popular pick. And then I have Iowa State over BYU. Just moving on into the Elite Eight, Auburn versus Iowa State, and then I have Iowa State taking that one.
Sure.
So Iowa State's your representative from the East.
Sure.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're pretty similar on that. Yeah, I got same thing. UConn over Stetson. Oh, what is Michael? Okay, I got UConn over Stetson. I got Northwestern over FAU as well. Boo Booey is him. I think. I got San Diego State over UAB. UAB is probably my least favorite 12, and San Diego State's got tournament experience now. I got Auburn over Yale. Easy. BYU over Duquesne. Why are they in 11? Morehead State over Illinois. For the time being, we're due for a 14 over 3. When I make my brackets, I like to make it based off trends. I count how many first-round upsets I have. I count how many top 4 seeds that I have in the Sweet 16. And I count how many top 2 seeds that I have in the Elite 8. And when I was making this bracket, I felt like I was one upset short in the first round. And I was looking at some other trends, and I realized we are so due for a 14 over 3. There's been one since 2017, and a lot of people are using that as a reason not to pick a 14. I'm using that as a reason to pick a 14. It's bound to happen. The 15 over 2s are done. The 14 over threes are back. I like Moorhead.
I
And
like
also
Moorhead.
yeah. Hey, we don't like less head around here. We want more head. And also, they're just the best 14 seed, in my opinion, by a mile. If they can shut down Terrence Shannon, they'll be fine. They shoot the three really good, and they defend the three really good.
Are they going to make
Um,
Moorhead's band stop if they say no means no?
yeah, the NCAA might have to step in there.
Terrence Shannon, I heard, does like Moorhead. Forceful head, but Moorhead.
All right. I'm gonna carry on to I got Drake over Washington State. I got Iowa State over South Dakota State. Moving on to the next round. I have the same Sweet 16 in this region as Michael. I have UConn over Northwestern, Auburn over San Diego State, BYU over Morehead State, Iowa State over Drake. I also have the same Elite Eight as Michael. I really like Auburn to beat UConn. Like, it's so hard to repeat, and this tends to be where they fall in the tournament. And then I like Iowa State over BYU, and then I like Iowa State over Auburn.
Okay, so Iowa
All
State,
right.
another East pick. I'll just do it.
Um,
I'll just do it. You all are doing it. I'll just do it like this, so it's not weird.
All right.
Okay.
So I have UConn over Stetson. Everyone has that. I also have Northwestern over FAU. Same with Michael. You're going to see I have some. As much as I am a Big Ten fan, I hate the Big Ten in the tournament. Can't wait to tell you when Purdue loses. I have San Diego State over UAB. I have Auburn over Yale. I have BYU over Duquesne. I have Morehead State over Illinois. That was also my
Bravo.
stat. That was also my stat. I saw that they hadn't won since 2017. I actually have two, so I have another 14 seed
Wow.
that I
Okay.
like.
All right.
I have Washington State over Drake. I really like Wazoo. They let me down during the Pac-12 because I had them to win. So I'm hoping this will be their revenge for me. And then I have Iowa State over South Dakota. So then I also have UConn over Northwestern, Auburn over San Diego State. I have Morehead State beating BYU and making it to the Sweet 16. And then
I
I have
actually don't mind it. I kind of
because
like it.
I think they'll like I really don't like BYU. I heard people saying that they're seated low. I don't think they're too seated low, but I still
Because again, technically they were supposed to be a 5, but they can't play on Sundays. So
oh
they had
yeah.
to.
Okay.
So I don't know if the committee just got lazy or if there were literally
Wow,
no
they
5
really don't like
seats.
Morehead then. They really don't like Morehead.
They're gonna be repenting the whole game.
And then I have Iowa State over Wazoo. So then my Sweet 16, I also have Auburn beating UConn. I'm now scared because it seems like everyone's on them. And I have Iowa State beating Morehead, but different from you two, I like Auburn to beat Iowa State. I like them to move on to the Final Four.
Okay. So for mine, I'm also going UConn over Stetson. Woo, big surprise.
Shock. This guy
Also,
out of here.
give me Northwestern over FAU. FAU and Stetson both lost to FGCU this year, and if you lost to FGCU, you're not winning a game in the tournament. San Diego State over UAB, obviously Auburn over Yale, BYU over Duquesne. Give me Illinois over Morehead State. Don't overthink it. Drake over Washington State and Iowa State over South Dakota State. Give me UConn over Northwestern, Auburn over San Diego State, BYU over Illinois, Iowa State over Drake, UConn over Auburn, Iowa State over BYU, and give me Iowa State over UConn. And Dante, I know this is going to surprise you because you thought you had my Final Four, but let me just tell you, Iowa State had the same odds as Auburn did, so that's what threw you off.
Oh, okay. That's what cooked me.
So Iowa State is also my representative from the East, and since we're going to do it snake draft style, I'll go into my West bracket. North Carolina over Wagner. Give me Tom Izzo over Mississippi State. Give me Grand Canyon over St. Mary's. Give me Alabama over Charleston. Give me New Mexico over Clemson. Baylor over Colgate. Dayton over Nevada. I've went back and forth on this one a couple times this week. It's a tough one, but Dayton, I think, just shoots the three ball a little bit better, which entices me come March. Arizona over Long Beach State, though I do love the beach. Round of 32, North Carolina over Tom Izzo. This one I went back and forth on Grand Canyon and Alabama. But give me Alabama to beat them. New Mexico over Baylor. I do have New Mexico going to the Sweet 16. Arizona over Dayton. Sweet 16 here. Give me Bama over North Carolina. And give me Arizona over New Mexico. I'm not having a Caleb Love battle in the Elite Eight. And then give me Arizona over Alabama. So the first two in my Sweet 16 or in the Final Four, excuse me, is Iowa State versus Arizona.
All right. So I have North Carolina over Wagner. I also have Michigan State over Mississippi State. I did have initially Grand Canyon over St. Mary's, but I've now switched back. I liked St. Mary's. They looked good in the tournament. If I'm hating on Gonzaga later, I feel like I have to love St. Mary's. So I'm going to have St. Mary's moving on there. Alabama beating Charleston. New Mexico over Clemson. Colgate over Baylor. Colgate has lost 3 years in a row. They want to win this game. And I think Baylor might slip up against them. They were initially my first.
And I will say, I feel like all of those 3 years they've been a popular upset pick. Like I feel like each of those years, like they've been like a not terrible pick. Like
Ryan, let me ask you something. You said they want to win. Does any team in this tournament not want to win?
They want to win more.
Some teams are just there for vibes, maybe.
Like FA Poo.
Then I have Nevada over Dayton, and I have Arizona over Long Beach State. So then same thing there. I have North Carolina over Izzo. I have St. Mary's beating Alabama. No team, here's a stat. No team, I don't know in how many years, a lot of years, that is top 20 in offense and under 100 in defense has ever made it to the second weekend. So there's two other teams that match that. I think it was Illinois and also Kentucky.
what is the stat again? What top what?
If they're top 20 in offense, but under top 100 in defense.
So was Miami not under 100 last year?
I keep hearing on TikTok. I've heard it like 5 times.
Wait, and is this
They might have been
to
like
who?
90.
Arizona or Bama?
Bama. And then I thought it's definitely Kentucky, and I thought also Illinois. I thought those were the three.
That makes sense.
I have New Mexico over Colgate. I have Arizona over Nevada. So then I want the Caleb Love rematch for my Elite Eight. So I have North Carolina playing Arizona. And I have Arizona moving on to my Final Four. So I so far have Auburn and Arizona.
All right. I got North Carolina over Wagner. Give me, even though the guy who just interviewed me for a job today went to Mississippi State, and I told him I took Mississippi State. I'm gonna be going with Michigan State in this game. I like Grand Canyon over St. Mary's. I do like this St. Mary's team, but I think Grand Canyon is one of the best 12 seeds we've ever seen. So I really like them. What is that?
I said they just win ball games.
They just win. I mean, they beat San Diego State. Their only out of conference loss was at South Carolina. They're a damn good team. I like Alabama over Charleston. Give me Clemson over New Mexico. I think there's too much Clemson hate going on. I know they haven't been playing great, but at their peak, they're probably a 4 seed, and I think if they could tap into that, they should win this game. And then give me Nevada over Dayton. Give me Arizona over Long Beach. Second round, give me North Carolina over Michigan State. Give me Grand Canyon over Alabama.
I thought about that so hard.
I like it. I like it. Baylor over Clemson, and then my second of 2 double-digit seeds to reach the Sweet 16. Give me Nevada over Arizona. They are my favorite double-digit seeded team in this tournament. They were underseeded by at least 2 spots, in my opinion. They have no business being a 10. They play great away from home. They've beaten San Diego State on the road. Let me fact check all of this really quick. Oh, all right. They've won a lot of games away from home in conference play is what I'm trying to say. Things started glitching out. All right, so then we got North Carolina over Grand Canyon. Then actually, I'll take Nevada over Baylor in the Elite Eight, and then give me North Carolina to advance.
All right, so I have North Carolina over Wagner. in the 1 versus 16. I have Mississippi State over Michigan State because fuck Michigan State. I hate that team so much, and I want them to
Play
fail
guard,
so
play
badly.
guard play.
Tyson
Um,
Walker, baby.
AJ Hogard.
This one, this little section here between St. Mary's Grand Canyon and Alabama Charleston has given me agita. Like I don't know what I want to do here, and it probably will change by the time the madness begins. Right now, I have St. Mary's over Grand Canyon, and I have Alabama over Charleston.
Wow, all that debating to go chalk.
Yeah, I know.
This guy, what a ball.
Well, so I mean, I'm less debating the Alabama Charleston thing, but I am scared that Alabama could get upset because they are such a run and gun team. More on that later. I do have New Mexico over Clemson, although I did see something that favored 11 seeds are 10-1 in their last 11, and I kind of feel like the 6th seed is due. But I do have New Mexico. That's another one I've switched up. And whoever I take to win that game, I always have them going to the Sweet 16. Spoiler alert. I have Baylor over Colgate. I have Nevada over Dayton, and I have Arizona over Long Beach State, even though I kind of want to take Long Beach State for the memes because their coach is fired.
That coach is an awesome guy, though. I've got to meet him at the Fort Myers Gulf Coast Showcase. He's a great dude.
Yeah, so I'm kind of, I don't know. Then I have North Carolina over Mississippi State. This one has given me nightmares. St. Mary's versus Alabama. I think it depends on who dictates the pace. I think if Bama gets hot, they could see them going to the Final Four, but I could also see them getting upset in the first round. I think St. Mary's, though, can play both ways better than Bama can, so I'm going with St. Mary's. Then I have New Mexico over Baylor and Arizona over Nevada. And then in my Sweet 16, I have North Carolina over St. Mary's, and I have Arizona over New Mexico. So I as well have the Caleb Love action in the Elite Eight, and I do have Arizona moving on. So 3 of us have Arizona moving on.
And all 4 of us have Iowa State. Or no, 3
No,
of us.
Auburn. Yeah, Ryan has Auburn.
We're just ball knowers, I guess. All right, moving on to the South region. I have Houston over Longwood. I got Nebraska over A&M. I have James Madison over Wisconsin. After a lot of debating, I do have James Madison over Wisconsin. I have Duke over Vermont. I have Texas Tech over NC State. Kentucky over Oakland. Florida over Boise/Colorado, although if it does end up being Colorado, I may switch it. And then I have Western Kentucky over Marquette.
I like it. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either.
Then I got Houston over Nebraska. This one was tough for me. I have Duke over James Madison. I kind of want to take James Madison, but I'm like scared that they might lose to Wisconsin in the first round. So I feel like I'm taking the coward's way out by just taking Duke because I think that James Madison versus Wisconsin is a total toss-up. Texas Tech over Kentucky. Florida over Western Kentucky. Houston over Duke, Texas Tech over Florida. So I have Houston versus Texas Tech in the Elite Eight, and I have Houston moving on.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna run a pretty similar South region here. I have Houston over Longwood. I'm always pro Nebraska ball. I'm actually struggling with this Wisconsin JMU, but I'm like Michael. I'm currently on JMU. Duke over Vermont. I don't know why Vermont's a 13. I'd put them lower. Texas Tech over NC State. Kentucky over Oakland. Florida over the winner of tonight's game. And Marquette over Western Kentucky. Although I don't hate Western Kentucky, but I'm not
All right,
going to do
Dante.
it.
Let's hear the craziness now. Come on.
All right. If I had to take a 1 seed to lose in the second round, I would pick Nebraska. They could get hot shooting, but I'm going with Houston. Give me Duke, Texas Tech, and Florida. I'll take Houston over Duke, and I'll take Florida over Texas Tech, and I'll take Florida over Houston. The one I do like Florida to get to the Elite Eight. I'm not sure if I love them against Houston, but again, I like to go off trends. And spoiler alert, I'm going to have Purdue in my Final Four. I don't like to have 3 1 seeds in the Final Four. That's just against what I believe in. So it kind of more came down to that than me actually believing Florida will beat Houston. They are better with Alex Condon at center than Micah Handgladen by every single metric this year. I know the Marshall fan doesn't like
Except
numbers for
vibes.
some reason.
Except vibes.
Except no, dude, Condon is vibes. Have you seen him on the court? He is vibes.
Have you seen Micah on the court, bro? Micah is vibes.
Yeah, they're both vibes. They still have three guys 6'9" or tall. Actually, have 4 guys 6'9" or taller that they can run down there. Height is not a problem. They're taller than every team they're playing here. They're going to out rebound every team they're playing here with or without Micah. And yeah, I like this Florida team. I think they're going to go far. I don't know if they'll be Houston, but again, going with 3 1 seeds, kill me before I go that chalk on my bracket. I'm not doing it.
It's I almost have the same bracket as you two as well. So give me Houston over Longwood, give me Nebraska ball over Texas A&M, give me JMU over Wisconsin, give me Duke over Vermont, give me Texas Tech over NC State, give me Kentucky over Oakland, give me Florida over the Boise Colorado winner, and give me Marquette over Western Kentucky. Then in the next round, I have Houston over Nebraska, Duke over JMU, Texas Tech over Kentucky, and I have Marquette beating Florida. And then I have Houston over Duke, Texas Tech over Marquette. So I have a Big 12 matchup there, and Houston moving on to the Final Four.
All right, mine. Mine's gonna be a little different than yours. Houston over Longwood. Give me Wade Taylor the fourth and Texas A&M over Nebraska ball.
I was so pissed when they put those two together because I really wanted to take both.
I've went back and forth on that game.
I'm gonna send you the meme every second of that game. Hey,
no, listen. I've went back and forth. I might change my mind. But that's where I'm going right now. Give me JMU over Wisconsin. To me, that truly wasn't even a toss-up. James Madison's on the longest win streak in the country. They're good. They beat Michigan State at home. First night of the season, that was a big game. Duke over Vermont. This next game was also a toss-up for me just because DJ Burns and NC State burned me like 3 days in a row. But give me Texas Tech. Kentucky over Oakland. Give me the winner of Boise or Colorado over Florida. I don't care who wins that game. Both of them are beating Florida. Marquette over Kentucky. Round of 32, Houston over Texas A&M. Duke over JMU. Might change that one too, just because I don't like guys who paint their fingernails. Cough, cough, Jared McCain. Kentucky over Texas Tech. You all knew I was doing that.
Yeah.
Boise or Colorado over Marquette. Sweet 16, Houston over Duke, Kentucky over Boise or Colorado, and give me Kentucky to the Final Four. And then let's take it down to the last region. Now, this region is where I get fucking ballsy, okay? This is why I want to do the snake draft so you all could hear how crazy this one goes. Purdue to win the first game. I like Utah.
Not real crazy, man.
Yeah. I like Utah State and Great Osobor to beat TCU. Give me McNeese State over Gonzaga. Will Wade and them have been cooking. Samford over Kansas. Oregon over South Carolina. Creighton over Akron. That one's not very fun. Colorado State over Texas. And then Tennessee over St. Peter's. Round of 32, Purdue over Utah State. McNeese over Samford. Will Wade and them boys they're just tough. And then Creighton over Oregon, which I've kind of thought about changing that one too, just because of how Oregon ran the gauntlet in the Pac-12 tournament. Tennessee over Colorado State, just because I like the best player in March Madness a lot of the times. And Dalton Connect is just crazy. Then yeah, here it's not crazy anymore. Purdue over McNeese, and then Tennessee over Creighton. I don't think Creighton is great, but I do think they have a pretty favorable spot in the bracket for a 3 seed. And then give me Purdue over Tennessee. So my final four, which I'll go last on the final four. We'll let Michael go last on here and then finish off his final four. But it's Iowa State, Arizona, Kentucky, and Purdue.
That's supposed to be crazy.
I mean, taking four double digit seeds in the first round.
Okay. I have Purdue over whoever wins the game tonight. I have TCU over Utah State. I thought about it. I think Big 12 ball is so good. I'm horny. So give me TCU. I have McNeese over Gonzaga as well. I have Kansas over Sanford. I have Oregon over South Carolina. I have Creighton over Akron. I have Colorado State over Texas, and I have Tennessee over St. Peter's. Then we get to the second round. This is where Purdue loses. They're not making it to the second weekend, so give me TCU over Purdue. Give me Kansas over McNeese. I wish these teams didn't play on so early because I liked either of them to make it out. So give me Oregon over Creighton and give me Tennessee over Colorado State. Give me TCU over Kansas and give me Oregon over Tennessee. So I have TCU and Oregon meeting up in the Elite Eight with Oregon being my Final Four team.
Now that's crazy.
I like it. I like it.
I like it. All right, so I'll start out. Give me Purdue over whatever team wins this game. I'll take Utah State. I like Peyton. I like Osabor. He's good. Another gravely underrated team in the seeding. I don't think TCU is that great. I'll take Gonzaga over McNeese. So many people have been taking McNeese. Gonzaga's not. I just don't think they're gonna lose in the first round. I feel like they've been playing way better recently. Sanford over Kansas. I'm going with that as well. Kansas banged up. You have probably the thinnest team in this region versus the deepest team in this region, and I really like Bucky Ball to get out of this.
And Sanford has 2 FSW fellas.
I didn't know that.
In fact,
wow. All right, I like him even more. I'll take Oregon. I'm sticking with Oregon. So many people have been taking them. It's really like almost making me feel nauseous about it. But I like them. They've been playing so good. They're getting a little bit healthier. I'll take Creighton. I think I'm the only one, or the only one so far. I'm going Texas over Colorado State, and I like Tennessee. Second round, I'll take Purdue over Utah State, Gonzaga over Sanford, Creighton over Oregon, and Tennessee over Texas. That'll be pretty chalk from here. Purdue versus Tennessee in the Elite Eight with Purdue advancing.
All right, so I have this region has like killed me because
region's going to be fun.
This region's going to be fun. I have Purdue over the 16 seed, whoever that might be. I got Utah State over TCU. That one I kind of went back and forth on. I feel like both teams didn't really end the season so hot, so I think that could be an interesting game. I have Gonzaga over McNeese, which kind of scares me, but whatever. I have Sanford over Kansas. I think Kansas injuries are just too rough. I really like them to go far at the beginning of the year, but
also haven't said if Dickinson's even fully healthy for the game either.
Yeah, so I don't know. They just seem, even if they do end up winning that game, I don't think they'll end up going far. I like the upset pick. I have Oregon over South Carolina, which again, just like Dante, like is kind of scaring me because everyone is taking it. I have Creighton over Akron, Colorado State over Texas, and Tennessee over St. Peter's. I have Purdue over Utah State. I have Gonzaga over Sanford, and I have Oregon over Creighton and Tennessee over Colorado State. I then have Purdue over Gonzaga, which is really gross to me. I really don't love Purdue, but I feel like they kind of have an easy draw through this region, honestly. And then I have Oregon over Tennessee. Um, and then I ultimately have Oregon going to the Final Four. But
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
dude,
Michael.
we have two people
Oh,
with an
yeah.
11 seed in the Final
dude,
Four.
I'm sorry,
Absolutely
dude.
wild.
That Dante guy is so insane. I don't know
Thanks,
if
man.
you watched that game against Colorado, but that dude, that
I
brother
did.
was all over the floor. I mean, it was it was incredible. Like watching a dude like
Oregon also has an
run.
FSW guy,
They do have an FSW guy.
Adrian
Um,
Tracy.
but what I am scared about is I have Oregon beating the 2, 3 seeds, which after running a whole tournament just feels terrifying.
One other
And
11 seed has done that. Do you know who it was?
yes, it was Syracuse.
No, they were a
Was it
10.
No?
It was VCU.
VCU? That's right.
And so I'm kind of scared to do it. I am on the verge of taking Tennessee out of the region because I do think the winner of that game will get out of the region. Um, and honestly, I just think this region is pretty weak, to be completely honest with you. Even though some of the lower seeds I think are competent, I just don't love too many of the upper seeds. Aside from Tennessee, who of course is playing my favorite double-digit seed in the Sweet 16. So that leaves my Final Four as Iowa State, Arizona, Houston, and Oregon.
All right, let's hear your finals then.
All right, so I have Arizona moving on against Arizona, Iowa State for no real reason aside from Arizona always chokes, and I feel like they're due. And also in the other side, I have Houston over Oregon, and I just don't foresee a Big 12 conference championship rematch. It's kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's just like a voodoo thing, but I don't want to pick that. So, and then I have Houston winning the whole thing against Arizona.
Okay. My Final Four is Iowa State versus North Carolina in the East-West, Florida versus Purdue in the South Midwest. I have Iowa State over North Carolina. I have Purdue over Florida. And I have the villain story being complete. Zach Edey and Purdue taking it down. Fun fact about Purdue: everyone says Big Ten refs help them. They've only had the opposition take more foul shots than them 4 times this year. All 4 times were in Big Ten games. In the out of conference schedule, they had more free throws than the opponent every single game. Without Big Ten refs helping them or sucking them off or whatever anyone likes to say about Purdue, they get fouls. They're just big. They're physical. I think that's going to continue. I like Purdue to win the whole thing.
I don't know, but now that the noise is there, it's going to be in the back of the ref's head.
I don't think that's going to happen, but I think that's a cute conspiracy.
All right. So my Final Four, I have Auburn going against Arizona, and I have Houston going against Oregon. Last year the Pac-12, man. But I have them falling up short. So I have Auburn beating Arizona, and I have Houston taking down Oregon. So give me Houston over Auburn in the championship. Go Cougars.
All right. This is where mine gets interesting because Dante thought he had it all along, just because of odds. Iowa State over Arizona, and also Purdue over Kentucky. So the two teams that Dante thought of my Final Four to go to the championship, neither of them are going to the championship.
Wow.
So
All
Dante,
right.
we have the same national championship, and this is where it's going to get interesting because I'm taking the Fighting Brock Purdy's, the Iowa State Cyclones to win. I was at a toss up here until I looked back at that Big 12 championship game. They beat Houston by like 32 points. I mean, it was just an utterly dominant showing, and I think they beat Purdue. I'm not the biggest Purdue fan, but like Michael said, the high seeds in their region are good, but the middle level seeds aren't great. And then I think if they match up with Kentucky in the Final Four, who's my darling, they don't play a lick of paint defense, and it's just going to be Zach Edey force eating whatever the hell he wants. So I feel like that's why they make it to the championship over Kentucky, though I would like to see the Kentucky Wildcats in the national championship, but I am taking Iowa State over Purdue. I've had my bonus bet on them all since the odds came out. And Michael said he liked him at like plus 2,000. I think I got him at plus 2250 before Michael even said that. So I do like that there too. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I love this Iowa State team. So there were two trends that were concerning with me picking them to win the championship. One is that every national champion since 2000 has had at least one player averaging 15 points per game. You need the one guy to go to. Iowa State does not have that, but they do have two very reliable guards that are around 14. And the other thing with Iowa State that was bothering me is the conference champion trend. Conference teams that win their conference championship have only won the national championship 3 of the last 11, I think. It's not a lot.
That means
It's hard to
by your ideals.
Well, I would say that if it didn't just happen 2 years ago, was one of them. So Baylor. Yeah, I know. I like to go by some of these trends. I used to pick conference champions, but the one year I went with Illinois, Texas when they both won their conference championships and they both lost by the round of 32, I said I'm done. I'm not picking them anymore. They're all gassed. They're all gassed by the end. But I do this Iowa State team is really good, and people are worried they're not in the top 50 in offensive efficiency. They're 55. By the time they run up some of these teams, they'll be in the top 50.
Yeah, I agree. I like Iowa State a lot.
So I placed my Final Four as a parlay. I was telling Michael about it last night, it's so funny. I was telling him about my odds, and I didn't even know that he also had Oregon. So I have my Final Four odds: $5 to win 11,000.
Mine is a little less. It's $2 to win 1,100. But why buy a scratch off ticket when you could just put it on a parlay?
Yeah, what?
I know more ball than I feel like I have a chance of winning a lot of the lottery.
Exactly.
Also, I really like this. I took a side bet as well. I did Arizona and Houston to make it out like alone. I really like Arizona to make it out of the West. All right. Is there any other?
I feel like you just don't. I know you don't like North Carolina because you have a thing against Baycott.
Mhm. Dude is not good at basketball. Him, Zach Edey, horrible ball players.
I feel like you just hate big men.
They're great college players. They'll be horrible professional players in the NBA.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you saw this, Peyton. Not picking Iowa State's kind of a trend, or to have them lose in the national championship. Brock Purdy lost in the Super Bowl. Tyrese Halliburton has lost in the in-season tournament. Iowa State's a big runner-up this year, like Philly teams were last year.
Listen, if the championship game comes down to Purdue and Iowa State, and me and Dante are competing for the money in the bracket pool, I don't care if we both got the national championship right. That's a fucking win, anyways, for me. Like last year, I won our bracket, I think, because I was the only person to get one team in the national championship correct.
Mm-hmm.
I know,
yeah, because it was me and you, because I was rooting for KSU. Because if I had KSU win that game,
I had UConn.
Yeah.
But I don't remember who I had beating UConn, but I was the only person. Like me and you were the only teams with teams left in the Final Four, even.
Well, no, that's Elite Eight.
Oh yeah. You're
right.
Yeah,
Kansas State lost to FAU.
I was also the only team the only person with a team left in the Final Four last year.
Yeah.
That's how crazy the the tournament was last year.
Well, Michael would have.
Yeah, if we didn't.
Well, I was in the 91st percentile. I had to have had a team in the Final Four.
How do
you have
I can't find how to go back.
How are you checking it?
Oh,
How are you finding that?
It was on the app before I made all my stuff.
Oh,
at the top, there's 2023.
What?
Yeah, at the top on ESPN, if you go to the tournament challenge. Oh, I'm on the website. Sorry.
Oh no, mine just says men's tournament, women's tournament.
Here, I can actually look. Yes, Payne, you were the 97th percentile, 97.5.
Bang.
I
And
was terrible.
You had Alabama winning.
Oh, Alabama over UConn. I mean, going into it, it wasn't a bad idea.
No.
Yeah, I think everything else of mine was just horrible, other than having K-State make it to the Elite Eight.
Well, we are 16 hours away from round of 64 tip
And
off.
I will be on a flight.
I will
Paying
be
get the
playing it in my classroom, watching Izzo beat Mississippi State.
I'll be watching it on my phone, waiting on Michael and my father to get to Tampa.
and they will be watching it in the car on the way to Tampa.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably get there not that long after it starts, but I'm antsy. I want to get to the sports bars ASAP. I'm bringing a portable charger with me. I'm gonna be fully locked
Yeah,
and loaded.
I wish that I could be in Tampa, but just having to go to the admitted students weekend, it's kind of like I got to do it. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it sucks. But Dante, if me and you are playing each other, if that's a national championship, we got to go get absolutely crunk somewhere and just scream at each other the whole time during the game.
Oh, 100. Oh yeah. My grandma will be leaving that morning. That Monday morning. So absolutely, yeah. I'm if that is the final. And the crazy thing is Michael and Ryan's finals are almost the same. Ryan just has Auburn over Arizona, but he does have Arizona in the Final Four as well.
Yeah. Our Final Fours are eerily similar, right, Dante?
Yeah, my only difference is, you
got
have
Houston over
Arizona.
Kentucky.
No, I have Florida,
Oh, that's right. And you have Arizona.
North Carolina.
So yeah, we're two different, but our national championship's the same.
Yeah, title's the same.
All right. I have. Oh, what was I gonna? Oh, I had a banned list. Oh, I had a banned list, and I forget who it was. Oh, Washington Capitals unders. Nothing to do with March Madness, but that pissed me off.
The 18th hole in the players, is that
Yes,
going to be
and
involved?
also betting against. I should have stuck with Scotty Scheffler. That's what annoys me. I said when I got that free bet, I just wanted to put it on Scotty just to get like a free. He's gonna be up there. You can hedge it, and I went with Homa. God
Yeah,
damn it, Homa.
I didn't take him. It was my mortal lock from the week before, and I folded and I didn't take him because he won the Arnold Palmer, and it scared me winning two in a row. But I did get him at plus 250 on Sunday morning, so I did still profit off of the players betting on Scotty Scheffler. So I can say I came out happy.
So I'm 0 for 2 for golfers being up by 5 strokes. Bang. Um, let's see what happens this week.
No lead is safe around Scotty Scheffler.
All right, baby, and you know what time it is. Stay twisted.
All right, we'll see you next time.